All right, guys. Good night. Good night, everybody. Joining us here on Island Fans. Good night, Jamal. Good night, Alex. Good night, Joe. Good night, Eureka. See, you have Captain Henderson down there. Joe is what? Perez one. Perez one like a wounded what? We have there, Joe.
Come on, another song shot. Come on. School days, school days, school
One
days.
like us is one like a wounded dog.
Yeah, man.
Okay, RIP Super League, and we just
Rest in
have
peace.
Jamal up there. Jamal is probably Jamal and Alex. I know is sad. And let's start there. Let's start there, guys, because we've all heard the news that all of our clubs, all of the English clubs, have pulled out of the European Super League. Is this a bad day, a sad day, however you want to put it? Is this a bad day for football? Alex, we start with you.
Well, based on last night, you already know. It's a very sad day for football, especially for the English teams. The Super League. Obviously, there were some issues with the format that was presented in the way that was presented. So you had managers not understanding or knowing what it was about. So there were problems. But I think the real issue behind the Super League was one of teams having proper funding and teams being supported by youth or not being supported. So know that, it was first Chelsea, then you had City pulling out, and then obviously it's like a deck of cards. Everybody kind of follow afterwards. I think it leaves the English clubs in a position where, you can't really go back to the way it was before because things have changed forever. But then the way forward is kind of like, what's the next step? I see UEFA offering money to the English clubs reportedly. Is that the way forward? How is that going to work? What does that mean for the clubs below who are not in the Champions League, who won't get that money, So I think it's just a sad day. The fans, obviously, I saw videos of the fans blocking the Chelsea bus from even entering the stadium and so on. Like, tough day for football, man. It's just sad overall.
All right, I'll go ahead. I'd say it depends on how you look at it as well.
Okay, go ahead, Jamal. I think I was frozen there for a bit. Go ahead.
Okay, no, it depends on how you look at it. Like Alex was saying, it's a sad day from the club's perspective and from maybe UEFA's perspective. But as we see, the fans do have a voice, and if they all collectively get together, then we can make changes in the world of sport. And I mean, we need to look at the other issues at hand, racism and the other things that need to come after this, and hold people accountable. Obviously, these owners only did this for financial gain, and where, like Alex said as well, we didn't see any clear plans on where the clubs lower in the league would also get this trickle down effect.
Right.
Also, UEFA has offered money to the English clubs, but not the Spanish clubs. Where is that money going to go to as well? Now, was this just a ploy to say, look, we need more money from UEFA, and the clubs called UEFA's bluff, and then UEFA accepted? So we don't know the true story behind that. We don't know exact figure of money that was offered and how it was offered. And will UEFA still go ahead with their format? We don't know either.
All right. Good stuff. Eureka and Joe. Would you say that the football owners, would you say that they have won? Because if the reports are true that they received large sums of money from UEFA, would you say that maybe this is what they wanted from the onset? Go ahead, Eureka. You can start.
Yeah. I would say no. I would say absolutely not. I mean, I've heard the
Yes, Eureka's out. Joe, go ahead.
Oh well, I wouldn't say
am I
it's
back, fellas?
okay. Eureka's back.
Go ahead, Eureka.
He's frozen again.
Is FSG have his Wi-Fi? So yeah. Go ahead, Joe. Talk to us.
All right. Well, for me, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a win for the owners, but it's a step in the right direction. But at the same time, it also kind of shows it. I remember like the tweet I tweeted yesterday, Shaq, and I think you and Jamal retweeted it, where I was saying that quietly UEFA and FIFA and so on, they're holding a big L as well, despite fans really being upset about the Super League in terms of going at the owners, etc. Because it in terms of the whole racism thing, it shows that they were quiet about all of that. There wasn't much to say about it. You give a man a 10-match ban for racism. Not only that, the person who got racially abused gets a 3-match ban for a justified reaction, and you were quiet. But then the minute you're about to lose some money, like, you bring out Armageddon, you start Armageddon, you know what I'm saying? So it shows it's not a good look on their part. And then they're saying also that UEFA paid the English clubs to pull out, right? Where was this money all along? Then they're saying also that they are welcoming them back to the Champions League with a new proposed bill of close to or just about $7 billion. Again, where was this money before? Because if you really heard the different statements coming out from representatives of the various owners, it was basically a case of them saying that, hey, we've tried to discuss all of this with UEFA and FIFA, and they weren't open to it. They basically painted them as bullies. They would not listen to anything we had to say. They were just going to go about it whatever they wanted. And then it took them kicking up, and starting a whole war for them to get some sort of reaction and some sort of change out of UEFA.
Right. So finish up. Yeah, go ahead. Finish up, Joe. Sorry about that.
So based off of that, that's why I wouldn't say it is a win, but it's a step in the right direction based on the fact that now FIFA and UEFA know what can possibly happen again in the future. If we don't sit down and sort this out. And I guarantee you, if the Super League thing comes up again, these little errors they had from this time, they won't be there again. If they do come up with the Super League thing again, that's it. There will be no fighting it. There will be no stopping it. They will have put everything in place to combat every effort made to stop it.
Right. I mean, you're very true there. You make solid points there. But you were saying something before you dropped out. You can finish up your statement.
Yeah, I'm just gonna speak candidly about how I feel about this league. I think the Super League failed majorly because these clubs wanted to create a fixed environment where they are never relegated from this league. And I think that is the reason that they failed. There's nothing wrong with wanting more money. There's nothing wrong. When I looked at the figures for the winners of the Champions League, only getting 19 million euros, the winner, it is clear that there's a disparity between the amount of money that UEFA makes and the amount of money that they pay out. That goes without saying, right? But if I think what these clubs should have done is collaborated a bit more with other clubs. There's nothing with wanting to create your own league and getting rid of UEFA. I am all for that. I am all for getting rid of UEFA. But there's a way to do it. And creating a closed shop environment, a closed shop league in which teams cannot leave is not it. And to me, I hate this whole good versus evil way this is pinned. But it needed to go. So, I guess, good day for football.
But, I mean, if I could have just addressed your each point, I mean, I don't think the Super League was given the opportunity to flesh out those issues with it. I mean, like any other league, the Premier League, when it first started, you have teeth and pains. There's certain things that you're not favorable with, like the other things that you prefer. And so, like, I think with the Super League, like I said, the presentation of it was wrong. The idea behind it, I think, is solid. And I'll tell you what, I think the idea behind it is unavoidable. Because at this point, there are way too many owners, too many billionaire owners in football for their investments to just be regulated by UEFA that, barely wants to give you money when the tournament is over. So these owners are going to get to a point where they say, look, you keep, giving me a dollar by dollar by dollar and expect me to be happy when I have to pay wages, buy players, keep them fit, take them halfway across the world, don't get paid when they go on international duty, and you want 3 million different international matches for no reason. So what's the point? Again, I can do my own thing. I will put it in-house, and you can do what you got to do. So unless UEFA literally rewrites the book on how they are operating, I can't see a Super League not eventually forming again. Like,
Hmm.
you know,
Right. Good point there, Alex. And I want to come off of that point, and because Pep spoke about it today, and I don't know if you all listened to his interview today. I think he made some very good points in regards to the Premier League, the FA, UEFA, FIFA. They all are about their own agendas. They're all about their own agendas. They have always tried, you know what? This is how I can see that this mostly benefits me, and this is what I'm just going to do. And they don't think about anybody else. He even cited the internationals, and look at what happened to Lewandowski, and that affected Bayern Munich chances to qualify for the next one of the Champions League. Look, now we have in FIFA's, we have the World Cup in Qatar. I think it's next year. That's it, right in December. That's the middle of the season.
Middle of the season.
And then they're talking about fans and this and that.
who cares nothing
I
about
just
fans?
don't like the fact that UEFA is playing the victim card when they haven't UEFA and FIFA and these big organizations. They really don't care about fans, because if we can even look at the Premier League and how much they're charging for to watch a game, the Burnley versus Brighton.
Yeah.
So I mean, when they're picking choosing when they want to talk about fans and when they care about the fans and when they do not. That's my view on that. Joe, go ahead, Joe. You had your hand up.
Oh yeah, so I was just, well, first thing I wanted to know, did any of you think that the Super League was a bad idea? And before you answer, I know there were some things about it that we all disagreed with, in a sense that we think maybe could have been tweaked or whatever. But overall, the idea, do you think it was a bad idea? Did any of you think it was a bad idea?
I didn't like it, Joe. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Yeah, the only issue I had with it was just the concept that once you're in, you're in. And I think I proposed it last night. I could even see if there was dialogue, you could have a system where the teams in the Super League, yeah, you form it, but there's a relegation and you get relegated to the Champions League. Champions League becomes the second tier. And so you can have, teams from the national leagues, domestic leagues going into the Champions League. If you win it, you can have playoffs that get you into the Super League.
Right.
And it operates like that. I mean, and realistically, right, the teams are in the Super League. If there's relegation and you have, introduction and additional 5 teams, there's certain teams that are never going to get relegated, regardless if relegation is a concept. There's certain things that will never happen to. And so, it's the same discussion I think someone was having when they were saying, oh, if this happens, certain teams are only going to win the Scudetto, Juventus. And someone was like, isn't that already the case? Like, no one else wins the Scudetto. It's Juventus. No one else wins the Bundesliga. It's Bayern Munich. Like, no one else is really going to win Liga. It's going to be PSG. And that's the way it is already. So,
Let me make a point. Go
ahead, man.
All right. So, Alex, I get all the points you're making about there being, little details we don't like. But I want to ask you a question.
Right.
Do you believe that these owners, knowing that this is such a rogue decision and understanding the kickback that they would get from this, had to have all their ducks in a row when presenting this Super League to the world? So that, because there's no way these men could have sat down and talked for a second that people would have been cool, the rest of the league would have been okay with them creating a closed shop environment. And I hear your point with it wasn't allowed to get off, to address certain things. But the point of them saying, listen, we have signed these contracts, we're leaving. It wasn't, they were telling us what they were doing. It wasn't, they didn't even tell people in their own clubs. They didn't even consult with managers and execs in their own clubs. So how could people then sit back and say, okay, we'll give you chances to adjust this league and then come back to us? They were not. They were saying, listen,
that's
fair. What we're doing.
Which is why I agreed with Alex when he said, in terms of the fact that the way they presented it was very wrong. Because not only was it presented wrong, it was so sudden, and then because you're watching football today, and for example, me, I'm watching the game, Fulham versus Arsenal, and I'm there like, these men really draw it Fulham. And before I can have 10 minutes to really let it sink in. Breaking news. It was just so sudden, and then it was a case. Not only was it sudden, it wasn't a case where they're telling you, okay, it is our plan to transition to the Super League format in the next 2 years, 3 years. That man's had plans for August this year. Like for August this year,
True.
no consultation with the players or anything, as if they can play the league without the players. The managers didn't know anything, and I feel they knew that not feel, I know for a fact they knew they would have backlash, but I do not think they expected it to be as bad as it was. I honestly don't think.
You know what I think it was? This to me reeked of a situation where they knew that either someone was going to leak the news of the Super League or news was going to come out about it before they announced it. Because I was literally online on Twitter and then I just saw Arsenal issue a tweet, we're joining the Super League. So it's like, where did this come from? It's like,
it was leaked by a reporter.
Right. So I think they just had to like drop this, what we have, this is what we're looking to do. Because there was no coordination, it's like, oh, let's find out who teams are in it, who's not in it, how is it going to work? There was no coordination whatsoever. And I think whoever leaked it, and I'll tell you what, again, the news corporations, Sky, BT, all of these different corporations have a vested interest in the Premier League, in the Champions League, and so on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I hear pundits going in on the Super League, I am not surprised. Why would you praise something that may lead to your organization either losing money or not being successful? So I think they're literally just trying to destroy it before it could get off the ground. And they didn't do themselves. Super League didn't do itself any favors as well. So here we are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know you have to leave, Alex. Is there anything else you want to say? Make sure.
All I would say is if we are getting that money, if Arsenal is getting that money from UEFA, Jack Grealish, go sign him in the summer. Let's go and get top four.
Okay, so let me ask you, before you go, you can just give me a one word. There's a Kroenke out for you?
Kroenke out. Long time.
Kroenke out. Okay.
Now, wait, before you go, one more thing. You said Grealish. Did you call another name just now?
No. Jack Grealish.
All right,
I don't want to be greedy.
So quick question before you go. What's your take on Bissouma? Yes or no?
Bissouma, listen, I think he'd be a perfect partner for Partey. Like I said in the last show, Xhaka he's not a starter for me. He's a squad player that can help you win leagues. He is not the guy that I want next to Partey. If you get Bissouma next to Partey and you get Jack Grealish in the summer,
it's over.
It's over.
But Jack Grealish can stay at Aston Villa and stay the same competition he'd play in Arsenal.
Okay, all right, okay, bro. You get that. All right, Alex. Thanks a lot for joining us. Okay, right, Jamal. I'm gonna hit you with this one because you've been quiet for a while, and I know you were big on the Super League. So, question for the panel: do you guys really think that given the chance, these rich, greedy owners would have come up with a better format that lets other clubs into their Super League? And I like how Risa worded this. You know what? They're this and they're rich and greedy. Jamal, what do you think?
I do think that they would have come up with a better format. Like I was saying, before this Super League was officially announced, we heard about this years ago, where they were saying that they would have the founding members be permanent members for 5 years, and then they'll allow clubs to come in and out. I mean, that's one way you could look at it, but I'm sure if they were given time, COVID didn't hit, and you had probably a good 2-3 seasons to actually figure this out, then definitely they could have come up with something else. But it would not have been inclusive of everybody at the start. And that is apparent. You can see from Perez's quotes, definitely that they weren't thinking of any other of the other clubs that could qualify for this league. I don't know. We've been talking about having the Champions League as a secondary competition. And if you follow the Super League and you fall into the Champions League, but then that's what UEFA did with the Europa League, and then now they're doing it again with the Conference League.
All right.
Yeah, so it's just the concept is there, but someone needs to actually refine it and make it work. But you're gonna step on somebody's toes regardless of what you do.
Right, and as I think that these people, these rich greedy owners, as we should put it, they they were just thinking money. And
Yeah.
this is why I'm not, when I saw this, because I saw this tweet early in the morning, and a couple hours after, I'm hearing Chelsea's dropping out, City's dropping out. I really think that some money passed. I really think there's some money passed. And I wanted to just transition to this, guys. Do you think, or do you want, Joe? Let me ask you, because when we get back Yuri here, do you guys think that, do you want Kroenke out because he tried to enter the Super League? Not in general.
I wanted Kroenke out even before this, and
But
that is something personally that will never change. So it's
okay,
even
Joe,
more
but
that I want him out.
so you're saying that you wanted, just forget what you wanted before. Just looking at, because he tried to enter the Super League, you're saying that you don't want him back because of that. He was trying to ruin the values of football, English game.
Honestly,
Sorry there, Joe. That's what I was going to ask you as well. Do you want FSG out? But we just want to let Joe answer, and then we come to you.
Sure.
Finish up, Joe.
for me personally, right, when you look at the statement that the board put out today, right, explaining why they did it and whatnot and whatnot and whatnot and all of that, they're just trying to pull, at the heart. I have seen Stan Kroenke, if you watch enough Arsenal games, at maybe one game, 2 games, I have never heard this man come out and give an official statement or anything, talk about anything for this club. So I can't just say it's because there is no way I can put it together and say it's just because of the Super League thing. I just want him out of the club for so many reasons. So many reasons. So I can't just, put it, to one
Isolate
side.
today.
Okay, put everything else aside. It's because of that. Because even if we say, okay, we're giving him a blight for the Super League, like the other owners, there were so many other reasons. So many other reasons I want this man out of the club.
But what would you say to, because I was talking to Jamal about this earlier, and in recent season we've spent 72 million on Pepe, and we've spent, he got some money for Partey there too. You don't cut him any slack.
No, we spent 72 million on Pepe. Let's all remember that Pepe, as much as I'm a huge Pepe fan and I support that guy and I want him to be successful at Arsenal, let's all remember that Pepe was a second choice. The reason we signed Pepe was because Crystal Palace wanted all the money for Zaha right there and then. With Pepe, we got a payment plan. That is why we got Pepe. So we didn't just go out and buy this big $70 million winger to bring to Arsenal because he was doing great in football. We bought him because he was the second option behind of Wilfred Zaha, and we got a payment plan to get him. So I'm not going to give them no sort of credit for bringing in.
Before we go to Yuri, Jamal, and the rebuttals here.
I was gonna say you can't fault the man for not having his credit in check, right? You can't pay the money up front.
Oh boy. Okay, Yuri.
Yeah.
FSG. Just was watching. I think the show is called Copish.
Yeah.
And they are big FSG out.
Yeah, they are.
Where do you stand here?
It's difficult. I've never been an FSG out man personally. I've always believed that the owners for Liverpool don't take cash out of the club. They try to run it in a self-sustaining manner, and then whatever we generate, we spend. Some would argue that doesn't cut it in football today. We need owners to dig in their own pockets. But on the FSG, I've seen them increase the capacity of our stadium. I've seen them hire a world-class manager. I've seen them build an entire new training complex. Like I've seen enough to make me. And also we've spent money. We've spent money on the pitch, right? But they're not necessarily digging in their own pockets. They're using the club's money. The reality is that no matter, no one in England can afford to buy Liverpool. It will always have foreign owners, right? So
Yeah.
this whole concept about getting owners that understand the club or understand how it works in English football, that's a myth. That's never going to happen. We're just going to be sold to the highest bidder. So am I FSG out? They've made mistakes in the past. I still think that when we look at a lot of them, they're not the worst owners in the world, but they're also definitely not the best. So I don't know, man. It's hard for me to say FSG out, but it's also hard for me to say FSG in.
So UFSG in, man.
Fair enough. I guess I could say
No, but
that too, Joe.
I gave points for my reason. I didn't just sit on the fence.
Right, guys. I heard this theory, and they're saying that if this is true, all right, guys, if these club owners are upset that they didn't get this league to kick off, upset at the Premier League and whoever else they want to be upset with, do you think that they can possibly hold back their funds or stop certain transfers, even stop the sale of the club? You know what? Basically, pull a Mike Ashley, right? What he's doing with Newcastle.
Yeah.
Are you scared that your owners, Arsenal, Liverpool, are you scared that your owners will do such? Jamal,
No.
you can.
Oh, sorry.
You
Yeah,
mean
let's
just
go to
because they weren't allowed to go to the Super League?
Super League, right? Do you think there will be any backlash from the owners?
It's within their right to do it. I mean, they own the club.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Let me see it off.
No,
That's
but
a bombshell, yeah.
tell me what I can do with it or what I can't do with it. If I want to put money into my club, I'll put money into my club. If I don't, I don't. I mean, we've seen this with numerous clubs throughout the years, and the fans will have an uproar, but at the end of the day, I own the club. And this is why I don't like the single owner club type of stuff,
Okay.
in which, yes, you can have a majority owner, but decisions still need to be made by multiple people. And if you have just one person controlling everything, then I just think that that's it. It's a monopoly at that point. And then,
But
yeah, go ahead.
question for you there, bro.
Yeah, I knew
It
Rizzo.
is. If
I knew
listen, I don't even know another situation I could come up with. But if I own something, you try to take it away from me, and then I obviously can share it with multiple people. Then I don't like the way that you came at me and tried to take it away from me. I can now hold it and say, look, it's mine forever. I can lock it up in the cupboard and say nobody's going to use it. I can
Right.
hold the club if I want to, but it's my club. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Okay. I get your point, Jamal, that they can do whatever they want with their product. But when we go back to, I guess they don't really have morals. But when we look at this is not football. If you just decide, okay, I'm not going to invest in this club. So you're basically killing the club. You're basically killing the club when you could just sell it and let fans be happy.
True, but if you see a financial investment from it, I'm not looking at it as a footballing perspective right now. If you look at it from a financial perspective, people don't usually buy things to enjoy them. You buy a house or a couple of houses and rent them out. It's not for you to enjoy immediately. So if you see a financial gain from having a football club, then you can have a financial gain from having a football club without thinking about how it performs in the league or how the fans want you to buy this player or buy that player. It doesn't matter. It's making me money.
All right. Yuri, go ahead.
I want to talk.
Yeah, no, go ahead. But I'm saying that's from like a financial perspective and not footballing. So
I'm here to talk finance with you. I'm here to talk finance with you.
Let's run it. Run it.
I'm approaching this from a financial perspective, right?
And these owners don't care anything about football. I mean, they're American owners for football.
Yeah.
And that's why they have their football, American football. They own clubs over there. FSG own what? The Boston Red Sox? I think it is.
FSG Red Sox.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they got other sports that make them more money.
Okay, let me talk about it from a financial perspective, since we're talking about finance, right, Jamal?
Yeah.
So from a financial perspective, you were the owner of Arsenal, right? An asset, which is what it is. It is an asset, right?
Yes.
The best way to protect your asset or to have your asset generate more income is by breeding success, right?
Alright.
Success of that asset enables you to then be able to get more sponsorships. You generate more profit, right? You're able to attract better players, right? So all of this is built around protecting your asset. So now what happens if you have an asset who is no longer successful? You lose your best managers, you lose your best players, you then start a free fall of slipping into mediocrity. And then it becomes a point where that asset is no longer an asset, it's a depreciation. Right?
Yes.
Right. So that's the way I'm looking at it from my owner's perspective. Now, when they came in, they bought Klopp, and Klopp carried them to the promised land. They could have never imagined themselves to. When they bought Liverpool, they bought us for 300 million. We're now worth 1.5 billion. Right? This is in a span of 10 years. And that was basically out of success. The success on the pitch. So back to the point where you talk about if the owners want to remain spiteful. They can. No problem. Be spiteful. But you're only hurting yourself, because when that asset starts to depreciate, when you start to lose sponsorships, when all these things start to go down, that same asset that you could have sold for 1.5, now you might only be able to sell for 1 or whatever. So that's the way I look at it. You can do it, but you're not hurting. You're hurting us, yes, but you're also hurting yourself.
Yeah, in the long term, yes, agreed, 100% agreed. But
Spot on.
I was about to say, if they have the money to withstand whatever they want to withstand, they're billionaires, then they can.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm not worried about. Maybe you can be worried, over there at Liverpool, and maybe Josh can be worried over there at United. But I am not worried at Arsenal about Stan Kroenke doing that at all. A man love money way too much to even consider doing that. He is all about. If it's one man out of all these managers, out of all these owners, that is about the money, it is Big Stan. So,
More than the Glazers? More than the Glazers?
The Glazers can afford that, man. That man's safe.
But I mean, guys, how much longer, especially for us Arsenal fans, how much longer can we allow, or should we allow, these billionaire owners only to profit off of our clubs, and at the expense of us as fans not being able to rejoice at our team winning a big trophy, winning the Champions League, winning the Premier League? It's been how many years since Arsenal have won the Premier League? We just won it recently after so many years.
Yep.
Can we continue? Are we supposed to just sit back and just let them profit? Of course, we can't let them sell it, because as long as they're making a profit, they're going to keep it. But should we stay silent then and just let it be? Whatever will happen, will happen. Anybody?
Isn't that
Well, at the end of the day, there's only so much as fans that we can do. We can make noise. Well, here's the thing. In order for anything that the fans want to do to be successful, it has to be in unity. We have to come together and do it. You can't say, okay, we're going to boycott the games, and then 2,000 persons stay home, but then everybody else goes to the game. Everything, every event, every plan has to be done in unity. And even then, it's still not a guarantee they will take us serious, to be honest, because at the end of the day, there is only so much we can do. So, I mean,
yeah. But here's why that's going to be hard. You're looking at, people can boycott the games, but those are just fans that are in England. There's people who wake up at 3 a.m. in India to watch Arsenal play, or watch Arsenal draw. Those fans are not going to let go of Arsenal because it doesn't directly affect them.
Yeah.
Whatever the Kroenkes do doesn't directly affect them. They are not in the stadium. They don't see the fans booing everybody and all that. So there are going to be fans. Like, let's say I book a birthday special for myself to go watch Arsenal play, and then everybody decide, okay, we're not going to the game. Kroenkes out, make them feel it with gate receipts. You think
Right.
I'll let that affect me? No, I'm still going to the stadium.
I'm going to my game.
If I'm the only person in
true.
the stadium, I'm going.
I'm going.
That's-
Yeah, that's true. But then even with the same thing that Shaq is asking, like even with the Arsenal fans, like Arsenal put out the statement today, and you would assume it's in an effort to somewhat, calm the fans down. But the fans are still planning to go ahead with their Quanky out protest on Friday.
Yeah. I'm listening to Jamal speak, right? And I can understand. Liverpool has a 15-year wait list for season tickets.
Yeah. That's what
15 years.
These people are not just gonna fold and say, okay, yeah, we're not gonna go to the game. 50
Yeah,
years.
if they, yeah,
Ticket.
if you don't want a ticket,
Somebody else will.
Right.
Somebody else will take it.
Literally
That is
2
true.
million
Somebody
people
else will
behind
take it. Yeah, that's true.
that will take it.
That
Now,
is true.
they'll bite your hand off just to get to a
Yeah.
couple of games a season.
Yep.
I
That's
mean,
true.
and it's, I know for me, I haven't been to the stadium yet, and
Yeah.
I would jump at an opportunity right now,
Yeah.
even in all this turmoil.
Yeah,
To
I'm
go.
jumping at an opportunity. I don't care if I see if it was, let's say it was Sunday's game. I don't care.
Yeah.
I watched my football team, even they didn't
Exactly.
they drew against Fulham. I watched my team, man.
Yeah.
That's off the bucket list.
Yep.
Shaq, if I told you the shady alleyways I had to go through in the middle of Liverpool to get a ticket to
Yeah.
go to this game, you're gonna think I'm a madman or by myself. But I was that determined.
Yeah.
So I think back on it. I'm back home in Antigua. I think back on it. I was just like, bro, you could have easily get stopped with the kind of things you were doing to get this ticket.
I want to hear more about this.
I'm telling you.
I want to hear more about this. Okay, but okay, even if you don't want to say, how was your experience though, Yuri? How was your experience?
Worth every penny.
Wow.
Worth every penny.
You're making me jealous, though, bro.
In the stadium singing, so you were in the stadium singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" and all of that.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I-
What match was that, Yuri? What match did you watch?
I'm not in this feeling, boy.
It was a New Year's Day game against Sheffield, but this is not Sheffield this season. This was Sheffield. First season
It's Sheffield.
Sheffield.
Oh boy.
Great game.
I
But
don't care.
listen,
I don't care what game it was. I'd watch it, boy.
I'll watch it.
I'd watch
Facts.
it. Yeah, go ahead, Yuri.
yeah. So it's just I don't want to focus on that because I want to stick on it. But it's so hard. And Cronky, you guys owners, this man could give less than a care in the world what any of you guys think of him. He has a cash cow, and
Oh.
he's not letting that cash cow go. He's not letting it go. He don't care if y'all protest, y'all can riot, y'all just don't burn down the stadium, which you won't do because you love your stadium.
You love the stadium. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
once that don't happen, picket and protest all you want outside. No problem.
So there's
He'll
no
step
way.
over you. He would probably step over you to get to the box at the top.
So there's no way to get these owners out. No.
No.
The only way to
That'll
get
be
these
some major
owners out,
scandal.
the only way to get these owners out, it would have to be another billionaire coming in and giving them an offer that they can't refuse.
Can't refuse.
Other than that, it's not really happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening. I mean, we're going to you go and protest. All the protests you protest, you think the man will give away his club because
So they can just cancel that.
yeah.
I think you're right, bro. I think you're right. Guys, I just saw that they made an official announcement that the European Super League is I think they're saying it's suspended. I'll just read it here. It says the European Super League is convinced that the current status quo of European football needs to change. We are proposing a new European competition because the existing system does not work. Our proposal is aimed at allowing the sport to evolve while generating resources and stability for the full football pyramid, including to help overcome the financial difficulties experienced by the entire football community as a result of the pandemic. It would also provide materially enhanced solidarity payments to all football stakeholders. Despite the announced departure of the English clubs, forced to take such decisions, due to the pressure out on them, we are convinced our proposal is fully aligned with European law and regulations, as was demonstrated today by a court decision to protect the Super League from third-party actions. Given the current circumstances, we shall reconsider the most appropriate steps to reshape the project, always having in mind our goals of offering fans the best experience possible while enhancing solidarity payments for the entire football community. Yeah, that's
And
it.
has
Right.
Perez written all over it. I'm listening to the wording.
I read it
That
as well.
is Real Madrid. That is Madrid.
But notice
Then
the
he
key
said-
word.
Yeah,
Notice the key word, reshape.
reshape.
It's
And here,
suspended.
here the
It's not
words too.
finished. They will be back.
And here the words too.
And
If
they
he
will
didn't
be
open
English
his
clubs
mouth-
were forced out because of pressure.
Yes, because of
Right?
pressure.
Right. But
So if he didn't open his mouth today, I think that the last straw was when he said football games need to be shorter.
Yeah. I think Perez kind of helps to damage, the whole thing.
Yeah, his interview.
With that interview. Like,
Yeah.
listen, right? Listen, hear me out, right? Bogard came out like a gangster. And
Yes.
the man made it clear this league is happening, whether they like it or not.
yeah.
Contract is legally binding. They can't kick us out. Listen, Perez came out and gave his best Gaston impression. Hear me? Tell me, he did.
Yeah.
Oh boy, but
Right,
go ahead, Louis.
No, you guys saw the stuff on Twitter about Figo and
Yeah, I watched that, bro. Yeah.
Broski. This guy is a genius. I rate him highly. You know, I hate Barcelona with every fiber in my being.
Louis, when you
So-
posted that and I watched that, in my mind I'm saying, okay, all this talk about the European Super League is off. Nah, this is happening. When listening to that, he worked out every possible angle for him to get his player. And he thought about too, how could I stop them from doing anything about it? And he
Yeah.
thought about that too. And he put that in place.
Yep.
Ridiculous. And I want y'all to realize, Woodward resigned. The one from Juve resigned.
Yeah.
No, he didn't resign. He actually tweeted out and spoke out that
He didn't resign?
he said that rumor is nonsense. He's not leaving the club.
Oh, okay. Who? Juve?
Yeah.
Yeah, Agnelli.
Agnelli
Yeah, he
family
says he's
have been in Juve for decades. I don't think they can just step away like that.
he says he's not leaving. That's nonsense.
Okay, cool. But Perez not leaving either.
No.
And where's Barcelona in all of this? You realize everyone is getting heat, and they are just sitting
Well, the
back,
report said that
relaxing.
the Spanish teams didn't get no money.
no.
Yeah, those are the reports.
Madrid
Only
The
they-
Spanish teams didn't get no money.
We're offering them more.
Good. Users supposed to use them.
Hear that? Hear that?
Good.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up. So, just give us your final thoughts on anything having to do with the Super League suspension.
Yeah. Haaland to Liverpool 2022. Back on the cards. Bring it home, boys. You owe us FSG. You owe us for this. You owe us a big
Haaland.
one.
Haaland, you say you
Bring
want.
him.
All right, so you forgive them if you get Haaland.
I don't know about forgiveness, but bring him still. We'll discuss terms later.
But would you, Shaq? If
Kroenke-
Kroenke decided that this next transfer window we spending big bucks, as a peacemaker, a peace offering to the fans, would you accept it?
Yeah. I wouldn't drink that. I want my club better. I want my club better. Guys, okay, hear me out, Joe. If he does this, I told Jamal this earlier before we started. if Kroenke, and that's why I want us to make the Champions League, so he doesn't have any excuses whatsoever. If he can invest in this team and back the manager, I'll say, okay, you know what? He did what he was supposed to do. He can't do anything else, you know. He can only support the club.
I believe that's what's going to happen. I believe this transfer window is going to be a feeding frenzy.
Oh,
For the
man,
clubs that,
thank you, Super League. Thank you,
Yes.
Super League.
yes, yes.
Oh,
We
boy.
secured the bag, and
What
now
do you
we're
mean?
going to go spend it.
What do you mean? Jamal, the money man.
Before I go, why did Arsenal get money? Like, my team,
Why
like,
not?
no,
I mean,
guys,
why do
seriously,
Arsenal get money?
no. I don't mean this in any way. But
Choose
you
you
guys,
wisely,
you
right?
guys, okay,
Yeah,
I can
right.
choose now. You guys were the biggest securers of the bag. You had no hope of making Champions League in the first place. So
What do you mean?
there was no shock.
We have the Europa League.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I wonder what you say.
Okay,
I
sorry.
mean, you talk about Tottenham. I mean,
You're right,
you're
you're
throwing shade.
You're right,
You're
you're
throwing
right, you're
shade. And
You're right,
you
you're right.
are you even close to making this Champions League, bro?
I'm closer than you guys. Like,
Okay, O'Neil is saying here some boy team can't beat Brighton, but the giant Super League. Is that still his own team he talking about there?
Yeah.
Reese is saying here, guys, don't let my dislike for the rich owners mean I'm 100% against the Super League. I'm all for someone challenging UEFA, and I agree with that to you,
I agree with
Reese. But the last couple of days was not the way, and the proposed format, big no. I think Reese summed it up.
I agree. Yeah,
I think
she
she
gets the
summed it
nail
up.
on the head.
Yeah, I think she summed it up right there. That's what I mean. We've been saying that. You have the, you can have that. You read.
Huh?
Oh, it's me. It's Michelle laughing at. Risa, come on. It's there.
And the same league Greece team are playing?
That's what she's trying to
That's
say.
why she never say.
That's what she's trying to say.
Oh, wait.
Trying to say, but I'm not about with Risa tonight. I left you, Risa. They left you for Thursday. Night.
Thursday's a night y'all love, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's banter. Right now, you see, we had Jamal on talking finances. You know, we had to get the money man up there.
No. I mean, Thursday night is a night that you guys love.
I mean, well, I've grown used to it in recent years. I've grown used to it in recent years. Eureka, don't laugh because I remember the years when you were playing,
bro. Next season,
I
right
remember you
there.
were playing it though. Don't knock it, bro. We
Hey.
coming.
I see you in Kazakhstan, bro. Right to the play with you.
We coming. Listen, poor Shark. No, you know what? It was one thing. I'm always here. To take all this thing. You know I'm not backing down, man. You know I'm not backing down. And you used to throw in the shade. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining. Jamal, you had anything to add?
No, Risa topped it off for that.
Yeah, Risa really did. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. All the fans who came in, thank you for joining us. And I guess, guys, the Super League is done. Thanks, Eureka, for joining us, Jamal and Joe. We'll see you guys again on Thursday night.
Thank you for watching Island Fans. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when there are new videos and updates. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and like us on Facebook. Island Fans, for the passion of the game.